The hand, days after a sleazy audio tape of him with a woman came out on a Kerala channel, Transport Minister of Sri Lanka quits. Anyway, let's now get into the topic of our debate number one, which is superstar Rajinikanth is invited to Sri Lanka to inaugurate a housing scheme for Tamil minority people who were displaced by the civil war which ended in 2009. He accepted the invitation, but after Tamil fringe group said, "Don't go," he said, "Okay, I'm not going to be going." Should he have resiled under the pressure? Here's the story. We're coming back for our debate after this.
Megastar Rajinikanth's decision to call off his trip to Sri Lanka following massive protests may play into the hands of the fringe Tamil groups and embolden them. But it is the Tamils in Jaffna who are once again the sufferers. The Tamil community in Jaffna has been struggling to rebuild their lives since the end of war against LTTE 8 years ago, and now even an effort meant to reach out to them and help them start afresh has become a casualty of competitive and petty politics. And while many have criticized the Tamil Nadu-based fringe groups for their opposition to Rajinikanth's proposed visit to Jaffna, where he was scheduled to hand over newly built homes to a group of Tamils, former Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa's son has angered many here in India with his comments. Jumping into the raging debate, Rajapaksa Jr., who is also an MP, says through their protests, Tamil Nadu politicians have shown that they don't care about the welfare of Jaffna Tamils. Many have hit back at the Lankan politician, asking when his father and he have stubbornly refused to answer questions about the genocide they presided over and done far from enough for the rehabilitation of the Lankan Tamils. What business does he have to lecture India?
Bowing to the pressure of political parties, Tamil actor Rajinikanth had decided to cancel his scheduled visit to Sri Lanka to distribute houses to displaced Tamils and also appeal to everyone not to politicize the issue.
It is really unfortunate that Mr. Rajinikanth had decided to cancel his visit. In his note itself, he says that he does not agree. Had decided to cancel his visit. In his note itself, he says that he does not agree with the views expressed by the Tamil groups.
He has no right to speak about us. Rajinikanth going to Sri Lanka is a different issue. But Rajapaksa's son criticizing Tamil leaders is not an acceptable thing.
Some political parties in India or Tamil Nadu, they have literally asked or threatened Mr. Rajinikanth not to go to Sri Lanka. We also strongly condemn Namal Rajapaksa for unnecessarily dragging Tamil Nadu politicians.
And once again, caught in the crossfire between the fringe and the Lankan politicians are the Tamils in Jaffna, who continue to face systematic discrimination on a daily basis. With over 6,000 Tamil farmers in that country committing suicide every year, and the big question is, instead of lecturing and hurling jibes at India, shouldn't Lanka look within and explain why it has failed to deliver on promises made to the Tamils, and just why justice continues to elude the embattled community since the end of war in 2009. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Superstar Rajinikanth is invited to Sri Lanka to inaugurate a housing scheme for Tamil minority people who were displaced by the civil war which ended in 2009. Rajinikanth accepts the invitation. Then political parties in Tamil Nadu pressure him not to go, saying the Sri Lankans are merely using him to make it look like they're working hard for the welfare of the minority Tamils in Sri Lanka. Rajinikanth then cancels his proposed visit. The question, should Rajinikanth have given in to the pressure? We have with us Seshadri Chari, member of the National Executive and Council of the BJP. He joins us from Mumbai. C. Rajashekharan, lawyer and a supporter of the AIADMK. He joins us from Skype in Chennai. Bandula Jaishekhar is advisor to the former president of Sri Lanka, Mahinda Rajapaksa. He joins us on Skype from Colombo. S. Murari, senior journalist in Chennai. Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian in Delhi. And retired Major General Ashok Mehta is a defense expert. He was commander of the Indian peacekeeping force in Sri Lanka as well. He joins me here in the studio. Mr. Rajashekharan, Rajinikanth is invited by the Laika group to inaugurate 150 houses to be given away to displaced Tamil families in Jaffna, Sri Lanka. The Laika group built these houses. They're a group very active in caring for Sri Lankan Tamils. Why play politics over a good cause, Mr. Rajashekharan?
The son of Rajapaksa, who had massacred the Tamils in Sri Lanka, who had committed the genocide of Tamils in Sri Lanka, is a war criminal, but it is pending before the United Nations. So that is the issue.
We'll talk about Rajapaksa's son a bit. My question is, the Laika group built these houses. It's meant for poor refugees from the, from the civil war in Sri Lanka, for the minority Tamils. Rajinikanth is a superstar Tamil resident of Chennai going there to inaugurate it. Why play politics over what is a good cause?
See, if you asked me a question, let me rebut it fully. Please allow me to speak. See, I am not saying Rajinikanth should not go. Superstar Rajinikanth should go. When? With whose invitation? On what is the cause? The cause is a good cause, but the person who has built Laika Productions has dubious connections. There is an allegation against Laika Film Production Company that they are the front face of Rajapakse's son and Rajapakse. So that has to be investigated.
Laika has come out with a statement denying it, saying this accusation is a baseless rumor, and Tamil parties in Tamil Nadu are simply perpetrating this at the behest of rivals of the Laika group.
See, I'm no preview to all this information.
Rajinikanth himself is saying he's not going there under pressure, and he's also saying he's an artist, not a politician. Don't turn this into a political issue.
Yes, superstar Rajinikanth was initially a bus conductor.
Why are you mocking him? Why are you mocking him, saying superstar Rajinikanth? Why this mocking tone?
No.
He's an icon where you come from, Mr. Rajashekharan.
No, Jujar, allow me to speak.
Yeah.
We all, see, I'm also a fan of Rajinikanth.
You may not be a fan, but millions are.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
See, I'll tell you, see, Rajinikanth as an individual is not a problem. Now he is a superstar, international superstar. Whatever he says becomes the headlines in every national TV and international TV. International media is watching him. So he is definitely a superstar, all said and done. Because out of his hard work, he has worked for money, he made all his fame, name, popularity.
Therefore he's saying he's an artist, don't play politics with his artistry.
See,
are we going to discuss the personality
or
the issue?
Allow me, let me finish. See, he's an artist, he also claims so. So he has to go. He wants to do some good work to the Tamils there who had been suffering for the past 7 years. The government has failed. They have not done anything. Fine. I am fine with it. I am with Rajinikanth. I am not against Rajinikanth. Let me make it clear. But I don't want Rajinikanth's name, popularity, his fame, his character, his reputation to be used by wrong people. That is a Laika project.
All right. That is the basic point over here. Mr. Murari in Chennai, political parties in Tamil Nadu say that Sri Lanka merely wants to use Rajinikanth to make it look like they're doing good work for the minority Tamils there. But Rajinikanth is saying he wanted to go for a good cause, period. What do you say to this, Mr. Murari?
Well, first of all, let us shed all these titles, mega star, superstar and all that. He is a star. He is a popular leader. And he is not going as cultural ambassador of India. He is going because the production house that is making his film has built 150 houses for the displaced Tamils in Sri Lanka. And he wants to go there to inaugurate that. Because that Limca production is, Jnana Foundation is connected with that. He built the houses and it is connected to the Rajapaksa family. We must remember, Rajapaksa is not the president now. There is a new president there. The new government is committed to reconciliation. And if you talk about displacement of Tamils, the Indian government has promised to build 50,000 houses over the last 8 years, and it is under progress. 150 houses is just a token. And whether he goes there or not, it can be inaugurated. Chief Minister of Jaffna, Vigneshwaran is going to go there and is going to inaugurate it. We don't need a superstar from Tamil Nadu to go there and to inaugurate that house. It is just a gesture. Let us remember that. Secondly, if he is concerned about the Tamils, he has not opened his mouth in the last 9 years when the war was going on. As far as Rajapaksa is concerned, war crime, there is a different issue. Let's not mix up with the Tamils of Sri Lanka. So, you look at it from proper perspective, it is highly politicized. And second point is, if Rajinikanth says he has deferred to the appeal of all the political parties here, they may have their own agenda. But he must have the courage of conviction to say, don't mix up politics with this. It is a welfare project and I am going there to inaugurate it. If say, I am agreeing to you now, later if I get a chance there, I will go there. I wanted to go there and meet the president and also discuss the fishermen issue. These are all clear afterthoughts. He's not very clear in this matter what he
Once
wants to do.
again, Mr. Murari, both
So
you
let us
and
look
Mr.
at it that way.
Rajasekharan
As
have
far as
made
the
an
Tamils are
allegation
concerned,
that
we
the
are all
Laika group,
for doing the
which is
yeah.
taking, which is supposed to take Rajinikanth over there, is a
that's what
front
Mr.
for the
Murari is also
Rajapaksa
saying,
family.
yeah.
1 second,
It's
Mr.
not an allegation. It
Rajasekharan.
was made even before it has not been
All right,
denied by
all right.
the Rajapaksa family.
And President Rajapaksa, the then President Rajapaksa was the one who finished off the LTTE in 2009. Well, his advisor, President Rajapaksa's advisor, Bandula Jaishekhar, is with us by Skype from Colombo. Mr. Jaishekhar, first of all, this allegation that one, Laika group is merely a front for the Rajapaksa family. Number two, they're merely using Rajinikanth to make it look like they're doing a lot of good work for the minority Tamils in Sri Lanka, which may not be the case. What do you want to say about this allegation?
The bygones, we have the superstar Rajinikanth. He's respected and loved and revered by, I would say, all Sri Lankans, not only Tamils. And they are his fans. I mean, you should set politics aside and let him come, because what's important is, I mean, he's trying to come to Sri Lanka as a humanitarian. This is what we need. I mean, President Rajapaksa was defeated. Now there is President Mike.
Yeah, but here's the question. Is it humanitarian for Rajinikanth and mere politics for you, public relations for you?
You kill the 2 lakh Tamils and you say humanitarian grounds, Rajinikanth should come. It's ridiculous.
Oh God.
No, it's
Oh,
there
come
is
on.
no- he's invited by a private entity to hand over houses. What's wrong with that? It's really, I mean,
But is this
the
entity
Queen's
a
party
front
is
for
in Tamil
President
Nadu are trying to play
Rajapaksa
politics.
and his
I think
family and
finally
your
stop
advisors
that.
to the
Because
Rajapaksa?
the ordinary Sri Lankan Tamils have suffered. I was a former advisor. I am independent just because
He has
you
not
work.
answered the question
I'm not
whether
holding a
Jnana
brief
Foundation
of
has links with Rajapaksa
for
family.
anybody.
That is the
I am
issue.
speaking as a Sri Lankan.
Yes,
Mr. Jaishekhar, straight question to you. Is the Laika group a front? Is it really controlled by the Rajapaksa family? Yes or no? Is the Laika group a front? Is it really controlled by the Rajapaksa family? Yes or no?
This is news to me. I don't know. I mean, you should ask the owners. I mean, let's not make politics out of everything. I mean, I would say when, I mean, I would
Mr.
say
Seshadri Chari from the BJP.
When all these people, the ordinary people suffered, let's bring the fisherman issue.
Yeah.
Who's suffering? The Sri Lankan Tamil fishermen are suffering.
Mr. Seshadri Chari from the BJP, you're hearing the allegation that the Sri Lankans are merely using Rajinikanth to play politics, make it look like they're doing a lot for the Tamil minority in Sri Lanka. On the other hand, the Tamil Nadu BJP President Sundar Rajana said Rajinikanth should go because it will be a consolation for the minority Sri Lankan Tamils in Sri Lanka. What is your position on this?
You know, I think given the status of a person like Rajinikanth, it would have been very good if we had...
1 minute, Mr. Jaishekhar. The question was from
don't
Mr.
forget
Chari
one
from the
thing.
BJP.
You know, we cannot... You know, Jaffna has had number of problems. LTTE was under control in Jaffna, and it was the former president who finished LTTE. But let us not forget that all those people who are taking up the cause of Tamilians now in Jaffna had been working with LTTE, which was a terrorist organization, and LTTE has killed more Tamilians and Tamil leaders than probably the Sri Lankan government and the army. So let us not forget, let us not give good certificate to LTTE. That is a different issue. Now all this politics about LTTE and Tamil and everything is in the background. And the new things have happened. Tamil National Alliance, TNA, is the representative organization of the Tamils in the Jaffna and north and eastern parts of the country. Now what has happened is, this TNA is also part of the present government, and with that help of this government and also with the help of the central government in India, we have taken up a number of projects, including the railway project from Colombo to Jaffna. So these are all issues which have taken place, and Government of India is trying to make an outreach. At this stage, if somebody from Tamil Nadu like Rajinikanth goes to Jaffna and meets the Tamil people there, it will actually pave the way for a good cultural bridge between India and Jaffna Tamils. So it was actually very necessary. We are not actually.
So the BJP's position is very different from that of Tamil Nadu parties.
The film production group which is making a film.
Yeah, just for a bit of background over here, the civil war in Sri Lanka, led by the LTT,
as far as foreign policy
was fighting for a separate.
As far as foreign policy is concerned, it is the exclusive prerogative of the central government, whichever government it is. The Tamil parties and the Tamil groups in Tamil Nadu should not determine what should be the contours of our foreign policy vis-a-vis India and Sri Lanka, period.
Yes, yeah. All right, but you know, I mean, just for the civil war in Sri Lanka led by the LTT was fighting for a separate homeland for minority Tamils in Sri Lanka. The then President Mahinda Rajapaksa used the full force of the armed forces to finish off the LTT in 2009. Now his son, Namal Rajapaksa, has tweeted this weekend saying that the true nature of Tamil Nadu politicians has been revealed again. They won't allow anyone, even Rajinikanth, to help Sri Lanka's Tamil people. Bandula Jayashekhara, you've been the advisor to Namal Rajapaksa's father. Now, if Namal is so concerned about the minority Sri Lankan Tamils, what is the former President Rajapaksa, indeed even the present government in Sri Lanka, been doing for the rehabilitation of the minority Tamils over there?
Yeah. Now let me correct. I was the international media advisor to the former president. Let's not bring Namal Rajapaksa. I'm not interested in families.
Same family, yeah.
So now having said that,
no, he's lecturing our Tamil Nadu politicians. But what have they done?
Having said that,
for the Tamils.
Let me explain. Now, what we need is, now let's not keep on attacking President Rajapaksa. He was defeated. He is a former president. He is a member of parliament. Now, the present government, President Maithripala Sirisena, was elected. He got overwhelming support from the
But
north.
what are they doing for the minority Tamils who've been displaced and become victims of the civil war, which ended in 2009?
So much of land, and even also from. But why are certain fringe parties in Tamil Nadu trying to flog this? Why are they shedding crocodile tears? Haven't they got any other slogans? Haven't they got their own problems to sort out? So that is
Mr. Jayashekhara, the civil war in Sri Lanka ended in 2009. The Sri Lankan government has promised that lands occupied by the army will be returned to the Tamil civilian owners. It's not been done so far. The government promised the repeal of the Draconian Prevention of Terrorism Act. Let me finish. It's not been done so far. The government promised it will investigate acts of torture and rape by the forces. That's not been done so far. Mr. Jayashekhara, are you listening?
Can I come in here?
General Ashok Mehta wants to respond.
You know, I think the answer to the leading question is that Mr. Rajinikanth should have gone, and he would have done a great amount of service for the Tamils of the north. Now, I have been visiting Sri Lanka regularly. In fact, only last week I was in Sri Lanka, and I follow Sri Lanka politics very, very carefully. And I would like to say that we have to make a distinction between what happened during the Rajapaksa regime, which is now he leads the joint opposition, and the national unity government, which is led by Maithripala Sirisena. In answer to some of the questions that you've raised, I have actually seen a lot of improvement on the ground, both in the north and the east. But that does not mean that all the land which was with the military has been vacated. Some land has been vacated. The military has been withdrawn at certain places. As far as the TNA government is concerned, previously there used to be a military governor. Now you got a civilian governor. On the question of alleged war crimes, the Sri Lankan government, the new government, is trying very hard to put into effect the 4 pillars of its accountability process. And those 4 pillars are on transitional justice, accountability, office of the missing persons, and also the new constitution.
The only problem with all this general myth, and let me put this to Professor Madhav Nalapad. Professor Nalapad.
Let me say one other thing. You know, this government is got a big challenge that on the one hand, the country is facing this great wave of nationalism, which is supported by the previous president, Rajapaksa. This government is trying to do as much as is possible in the face of that nationalism on reconciliation with the Tamils. And I can tell you, as I have no mandate for the Sri Lankan government. I have been with the IPKF, and I should be a bitter critic of the Sri Lankan government. But I must say that give this government a chance, and the Tamil National Alliance government is itself not totally dissatisfied, but they are working on the constitution. A tripartite agreement is there between the UNP, the SLFP and the TNA. So, see, the war finished in 2009. We are in 2017. 8 years is not a large time. After 30 years of war, where a lot of war excesses were committed by both sides. And therefore, we have to be patient. The government of India is going along. And don't forget, the government of India was assisted the Sri Lankan government to fight this war.
All right, let's look at the government's position then. Professor Nalapad, India, it looks like, is trying to do a balancing act. Sushma Swaraj, the External Affairs Minister, has said that on the rights of Sri Lankan Tamils, that they raise this issue in every meeting with the Sri Lankans. But on the UN Human Rights Council resolution, which is now proposing to give Sri Lanka 2 more years, to fulfill its obligations to the Sri Lankan Tamils, it's Sushma Swaraj is saying that, well, we go by the consensus. Do you understand why India is trying to be a balance, to fulfill its obligations to the Sri Lankan Tamils? It's Sushma Swaraj is saying that, well, we go by the consensus. Do you understand why India is trying to be a balancing act in Sri Lanka?
Well, Jujar, I just want to point out that the Tamil parties in Tamil Nadu have done a great service to this young man, Namal Rajapaksa. Every attack that they give on him, whether it's on television or the print media, will be to the benefit of Mr. Namal Rajapaksa and the hardline constituency of the Sinhalese community, which unfortunately is a fact. I mean, you have hardline communities across the world, in Europe, in Asia, and everywhere, and there's in Sri Lanka also. So I would like to compliment Mr. Rajshekaran for the way in which he is helping young Mr. Rajapaksa promote his political career. Having said that, I want to make the point that this is very clear. Rajinikanth in real life is very different from Rajinikanth in real life. Clearly, Rajinikanth is it doesn't seem to be perfectly convinced that he'll be safe in Jaffna, and that is probably the reason why he is not going there. The real life Rajinikanth would have faced not 1, but 1,000, 1,000,000 threats. In fact, in 10 seconds, he would have destroyed 1,000,000 threats. This Rajinikanth has walked away from the battlefield, and in my view, I fully agree with other panelists.
No, he hasn't even reached the battlefield, actually.
Rajinikanth's duty is to go there. The Jaffna Tamils are an extremely...
Can I comment?
No, the Jaffna Tamils are a very cultured group of people. They have a very long history, a highly educated group of people, and I think it's Rajinikanth's duty to go there and be with them. My last point is, if the Rajapaksa family is building houses for Tamils, why not? I mean, why should they be regarded as doing something wrong? Is Mr. Rajshekaran saying that Mr. Rajapaksa should not help the Tamils? Everybody should help the Tamils. Sinhalese should help the Tamils. Tamils should help the Sinhalese. And let me tell you, as far as India is concerned, Sri Lanka is a very important part of the Indian Ocean strategic calculus. And India and Sri Lanka need close relations. You can't have close relations
if you try and take sides in an ethnic problem.
Okay, number of points have been made by Professor Nalapat. Mr. Murari, I think you want to respond to Professor Nalapat to begin
Can
with.
I come in?
Please go ahead, Mr. Murari.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Before that, I want to respond to Major General Ashok Malik. He said he's very familiar with Sri Lanka. So I am. I've gone there more than at least 100 times during the 25 years. I'm quite familiar with the topography, the geography, and the history of the Sri Lankan conflict. So the point that is being made even by Sesachari was about Jaffna, Tamils under peril. The final battle was not fought in the Jaffna Peninsula. Jaffna Peninsula was under the army control from 1995 onwards till the end of the war. It was fought in the LTT controlled areas extending from Mannar in the east-west right up to east Mullatevi in between the Kilinochi. These are the LTT controlled areas. The final battle was fought there, and the maximum casualties were there in this Mullatevi where the last ditch battle was held. So the allegation was, these Tamil politics, you ignore them, say 100 lakhs genocide, I don't go into all that semantics. Even UN reports have said, estimated the final casualties at 40,000. And it has also said both sides were guilty of human rights violation. This is a very sore point here and even on the Sri Lankan side. That is history. Though they want to punish the guilty. The question is, Rajapaksa was the president then. He was also the commander of the armed forces. If you hold the accountability at what level, at the level of the foot soldier or the president of the country at that time? So this is the issue. And India has its own geopolitical complexities. It had to work with president to do about reconstruction work with the Tamils there. So India has softened the issue. These are all very complex issues.
Okay.
So as far as the Tamil parties are here, which are
Mr.
Rajashekhar and all that, let me say only one thing.
Yes.
Only one point. No, 1 minute. Let me complete. One of those who opposed Rajinikant's visit was Tirumavalavan. He was part of an all party delegation led by Sushma Swaraj in 2009, immediately after the end of the war, and he had an audience with Rajapaksa. Rajapaksa gave special attention to him, patted his shoulder and said, I know you are a hardline LTT supporter, I am happy that you have come to meet him. That's the kind, what moral right have you to question? That was immediately after the war, mind you. Now 8 years down the line, if a film star goes there to inaugurate whatever it is worth, why question that? What moral right have you to do that? At least Vaiko had the courage of conviction to support the LTT all through.
General Ashok Mehta wants to say something, Mr. Murari.
Why are we talking so much about Rajapaksa? We should be talking about the present government. You should not compare what happened during Rajapaksa's time with what this government is trying to do. It's got a very delicate balancing act. And this government, the current government which India supports, God forbid, this government falls, you will have Rajapaksa back. And with Rajapaksa, not only will the Tamil problem become more difficult, but also the security, the strategic angle that China will come back into Sri Lanka. So please understand, don't put the current government under pressure. Don't say that nothing is being done for the Tamils. They are working on this, but it is working very slowly.
Let me put this to Mr. Rajashekhar. One second, Mr. Rajashekhar, do you understand this? From the government of India point of view, we are trying to do a balancing act. Sushma Swaraj saying that we raise the issue of the rights of Tamil people in Sri Lanka at every meeting with the Lankans, but India is going along with UN HRC resolutions, which is giving Sri Lanka more time to do whatever it has to do for the benefit of Lankan Tamils, because we have an interest in Sri Lanka, we have an interest in having good relations with our neighbor Sri Lanka. Do you understand, Mr. Rajashekhar, on that point?
Otherwise, Rajapaksa comes back.
Yes, Mr. Rajashekhar.
Jujar,
yes.
Jujar, first I want to answer Professor Nalapat. See, he was saying you don't want anybody to help Tamils. Yes, we want the whole world community to help the Tamils, because the Tamils in Sri Lanka have suffered a great loss. They have lost everything. Their land, their property, their lives, their families are shattered, and they have lost everything. Every single penny they have lost.
Mr. Rajashekhar, we're coming close to the end of the debate, so very quickly, do you understand? Look, you know, at the end of the day, foreign policy is the domain of the central government. You know, in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee has been spoiling Indo-Bangla relations over the Teesta water sharing pact. In Tamil Nadu, you people are compromising Indo-Sri Lankan relations.
Absolutely.
Mr. Rajashekhan, the Tamil interest is very important, but what about the interest of the nation also?
Jujar,
See, I'm not going to say the interest of the nation is not important. Most important is our nation. Next, if we are strong, only we can help the neighboring nation. I do agree with the defense expert, Mr. Ashok Mehta, that China will come in.
So please see all sides of the arguments
today,
then, Mr. Rajashekhan.
See, I'll tell you, today the issue is whether superstar Rajinikanth has to go or not. I would say superstar Rajinikanth should go individually on his own to meet the Tamils. He doesn't need a front company of Rajapakse's son, Nabil, to sponsor him there. Of course, he's an actor. He has got all the right to go anywhere in the country.
Seshadri Chari from the
But this is a
BJP
very
shaking his head. Yes,
sensitive issue.
what do you want to
So
say, Mr. Chari,
I don't mind
to Mr.
Rajinikanth going as
Rajashekhan?
superstar on an individual
Mr.
capacity.
Seshadri Chari to Mr. Rajashekhan. Yes, go ahead.
I think Jujar, the most. I think Jujar, there is no two opinion as far as Mr. Rajinikanth should go or not. I think he should have gone.
Yes.
Even now it is not too late. Even now he can mend. He can get an invitation from the Embassy of India in Colombo, and he can still go. He should go to all these areas, Tamil areas in the north and the east. That is number one. Number two, the most important points that have been made so far is that for a long time, the Tamil Nadu politics has always played an important role in India-Sri Lanka issue to the detriment of India and to the advantage of other countries. It is for the first time now that the central government's politics is not dependent on the political strength of the of the Tamil parties. The same thing happened when Dr. Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister had to go to Sri Lanka, Colombo, for that conference.
Right.
And unfortunately, he could not go for the Commonwealth conference. And the then External Affairs Minister went, and the British Prime Minister went to Jaffna. Unfortunately, it should have been the Indian Prime Minister who should have first gone to Jaffna after 2009. It did not happen. At least now we should not miss these opportunities.
Right.
Chinese delegation are visiting Jaffna every day. I think it would have been very good if even now, if Rajinikanth decides to go, and I think we should prevail upon Rajinikanth to visit Jaffna
and
other
change
Tamil
his mind.
areas
We're running out of time. Let me give the final word to Professor Madhav Nalapat. Professor Nalapat, your final thoughts on this, please. Nalapat, Professor Nalapat, your final thoughts on this, please.
Yeah, one point I would make.
My final thought is very clear. If Rajinikanth is to show that he has at least 100 the guts he shows on screen, he should have the courage to go there and face up these handful of people who are opposing it. He should do it in order to ensure that his moral support is there with the people of Jaffna, and frankly, he supports any effort to help the people of Jaffna. So my view is very clear. If Mr. Rajinikanth is true to the principles he espouses on screen, he should be going to Jaffna.
All right. Thank you very much to all our guests for joining us. We'll take a very short break. When we come back, debate number 2. The Oscar-winning film The Danish Girl was released and shown in movie theatres in India last year. But when it comes to screening the film on television, our Central Board of Film Certification has banned it. Why? Because it deals with a very sensitive topic of a man who undergoes a sex change operation to become a woman. The question we're asking, how prudish can our censor board get? We'll be right back after this very short break.